This episode of the School of Life podcast is brought to you by the School of Life Academy, an online platform providing millennials with the tools and resources needed to survive adulthood. From understanding stocks to building a business, writing the perfect resume, and even healing your childhood trauma, SOLA has you covered. Start your 7-day free trial today at www.schooloflifeacademy.com.
Wow, Sinatra.
Another day, another dollar. I'm saving just to be broke. They said college was serious, but my degree feel like a joke. 4 years or less, I'm saying I got it done. No plan, just to end up at my mom's after I told her I wasn't staying. Well, here we are. No question, I'm a star. Just got some light years to travel, but it's just so far. But I'ma make it though. Make sure you get your focus right. You coming too, it's about to be one hell of a ride. Yeah, this adults and stuff is crazy. They ain't warned us about this. I'm supposed to live my best life on an unpaid internship. How I'm supposed to find my husband? Everybody running game. I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. Went from worrying about on flow to running from Uncle Sam. Now I understand why student accounts never gave a damn. Saving accounts be slipping, trying to work out, but I'm tripping. I forgot health insurance. Oh, I'm my mom's until I'm 26, so I gotta pay these student loans. That's adults with the score doing the most. That's adulting. Moving out of mom's house. That's adulting, but it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting, cause these bills got me in trouble. That's adulting. Journey's course is never planned. That's adulting. Just leave it in God's hands, cause that's adulting.
Hey friends, welcome back to another fabulous episode of the School of Life podcast. Y'all, I'm trying to figure out how June is almost over. Like, what? Somebody explain, because look, I was not ready. I was literally preparing for this episode, looked at the calendar, and almost screamed because it was about to be the end of June. Nonetheless, we are here. It's been a crazy year, but I'm just happy to be in the number. Okay, can I get an amen from the back of the church? Look, I don't know about you, but this year has honestly been trying my patience since the beginning. Like since January 1, 2021, it's just been on and popping, and just my patience, it be thin with this year. I think I told y'all once before that me and Jesus were actually going to have to square up at some point when I got to the pearly gates because look, I just cannot. But honestly, I am happy to say that it's gotten better. I can't even sit here and lie and act like it wasn't me causing my own shenanigans and, that God didn't come snatch me up out of the pits of wherever the heck I was. Y'all know how we do get ourselves in some situations. But I am just glad that I am better, and I've been saying like I got my mojo back. So that is a blessing. So anyhow, I have been spending this month getting in alignment with God because look, your girl was all off the wagon. I realized back in May that I was just, child, I don't know what I was doing. I was doing something. It just was not adding up. The math wasn't mathing in my life. But let me tell you, self-correction is the best correction. And the Lord does a good work in me when I start acting a fool. So I am just happy that June has been filled with self-correction, self-love, and just getting back in alignment. So I'm back in my word. I'm drinking my water. I'm at the gym getting fine. Look, your girl is outside, okay? Okay. But enough of me. I hope you are doing well and staying cool in this hot summer weather. And as always, if you are not your best boo, do what you can. That's all you can do. Do what you can. So, from the title, I'm sure you already know what we're talking about today. Child, this one is well overdue. In fact, I think I received this topic suggestion back in 2018 or 2019 when I first said I was creating a podcast. Now, when I first got this suggestion, I was like, well, what do the Saints want me to say about heartbreak? Because heartbreak almost took me out. I don't have nothing to say. But I honestly think since some time has passed and I've had a chance to really get my thoughts together and to heal, I can add some substance to the conversation. So, y'all know the drill. Grab your notebook or your tablet because School of Life is now in session. Okay, so adulting through heartbreak. Where do I begin? I feel like I can sit here and talk on this topic all day, but for the sake of my producer's time and y'all's ears, I won't. Okay, I'll promise to keep it as short as possible, but we're gonna break this thing down. So let's start with a fundamental truth about heartbreak. It ain't even profound, it's just fundamental. It hurts. That's it. It hurts. Until my first heartbreak, I really had no idea of the pain a heartbreak held. Like, no one told me that my literal heart would hurt. Like the organ in my body that pumps blood to my brain, it was hurting like a crushing hurt. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, just nothing, just pain. That's all I felt. And I think I've said it on the show before, but I kid you not, I thought Jesus was on his way back for me. Like, it was that real. By the way, looking back, I'm so glad he didn't come get me because I kind of like this life thing. But seriously, on a serious note, heartbreak hurts. It actually hurts like hell. Like, I don't know any other way to put it except it hurts. And honestly, I'm not sure if, we've truly created the space in the world to safely talk about how much that hurt affects so many areas of our lives, both in that moment and even after. But of course, that changes today. Let's talk about it. Let's dive into it. Let us bear our truths so that we can be on the journey of healing and wholeness that we deserve to be on. Now, we also may need to get the wine and the Kleenex because it will be necessary. So my hope, honestly, is that this episode is simply a door opener for anyone out there adulting through heartbreak and looking for answers. I hope this sparks healing in you so that you can get your life back and just use this moment as growth. And if you're like me and you're living with the aftermath of a heartbreak, I hope you realize that you're not alone and that healing is not linear. By the way, total disclaimer, like I always say, I am not a licensed therapist, relationship coach, pastor, none of that. I am just speaking from my own truth and life revelations. So let's hop into it. Y'all know I can't talk heartbreak without keeping it real about my own life. Now, I've experienced heartbreak twice in my life. I don't know if that's a lot, but it almost took me out both times. So that's enough in my book. I talked about the first time in season 1. So go back and listen to Daddy Issues because I think I dove, whatever the word is, into my first heartbreak in that episode. But today I'll talk about the most recent one, of course, without using names because I am respectful. And it's not that deep for y'all to know his name. So boom, I met a guy on Hinge. I know, judge your mother. Judge your mother. Anyways, I met a guy and I swear y'all, like I'm holding my right hand up to the Lord. I just knew God had sent him. Like, record scratch, pause story. I always go wrong here because I don't be knowing if God sent him or not. But anyways, in my head, God sent this young man into my life. We hit it off. Things were good. For the first time ever in dating, a guy's words matched his actions, which matched the butterflies that I felt. Like, y'all, I thought it was it. Like, nobody could tell me this was not my husband. Like, where the Kleenex? Somebody bring me a Kleenex because just thinking about it be having me about to just slap somebody. Tears of anger. No, seriously. I thought it was my husband. Long story short, we hit it off. Things were great. Y'all know how it is at the beginning. And what really kind of like took me over the edge was him asking me to be his girlfriend after a few weeks of knowing each other. And at first I was like, no, let's not do that. But he was very consistent and persistent and adamant. And like I said, those words matched those actions, which matched, those butterflies I was feeling. And so we made it official. Long story short, y'all, he ended up cheating with his ex-girlfriend. And I think I was so devastated and heartbroken in such a short amount of time because I had opened up to him about things I had been through with guys. I had shared, how cheating affected me in a previous relationship and just how my trust in people is already below the ground. It's dang near in hell at this point. I opened up about my daddy issues, mommy issues, just where I was as a person and how I'm so self-aware. And I realized like I am an evolving human being. And these are areas where I am evolving the most. Like I share all of that because one thing about me, just like I'm so truthful on this here podcast, I'm truthful in my everyday walk. Like I know my gray areas, right? So I opened up, and I think when the relationship ended after I found out he was cheating, I was more hurt about that because you sat there, you listened to me, you consoled me, and you looked me in my two eyes and said, I would never do that. And what this fool do? Exactly that. So in the end, I was sitting there looking and feeling so stupid. Like all I kept thinking was, how did I get here? Like we weren't even 3 months in and this happened. And I'm like, what went wrong? Honestly, y'all, I was so mad. I didn't have words for about 2 weeks. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't eat much. I just was like stuck because what? How did something so good take a left turn so fast? And how could somebody listen to me open up and bare my soul and do the exact same thing I asked them not to do? There was literally no answer. When I say I was stuck, I was stuck. I was so stuck. I said, I can't even live in this state anymore. So I left. I'm telling you, heartbreak is that real. Now, without putting too much of my business out there, I was living in another state and I was getting ready to officially make that state my home because at the time I was living with my godparents. And because of this, young man and how things were going, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay here. I'm going to figure it out. I can work remotely. My business is going well. Had even gotten a place. But let me tell you how God works, honey. I got that coin back from that place. Okay, I told them I have to be out, family emergency, and it was. But long story short, again, I left because I could not stay there anymore. I could not stay in that state. And I'm not even going to lie. Even thinking about going back to that state sometimes is triggering because we're going to talk about healing. But let me finish the story. So anyways, I left. I restarted my life back in Atlanta. And I patched that hole in my heart the best I knew how. But I had to still live with that patch and deal with that patch. And y'all, that's the part that's hard to navigate because it makes me wonder, am I healed or am I just tolerating the pain until I can cover the patch with something else? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Am I healed or am I tolerating this pain until something else can come cover up that patch? And when I talk about adulting through heartbreak, that's what I'm getting at. Woo, that was heavy. Let's have a moment of silence and let that marinate. So after much reflection, and especially in preparation for this episode, I sat down and I realized that it was a little bit of both. I'm healing and I'm waiting for this patch, to be covered up. Remember, I have to keep it real with y'all, and that's my truth. I am healing and tolerating the pain at the same time because honestly, healing is not linear. And I don't even have the time to dive into healing and what that process looks like and just the emotional roller coaster you'll be on. But just know the whole process of healing is not linear, period. But in terms of heartbreak and healing and adulting through it, I've come up with 3 things that have helped me and I think can help you navigate adulthood through a heartbreak and after a wound to the heart because that thing is serious. So the first one, and by the way, these are not super, super profound. They're so simple, but so hard to do in that moment. Anyways, the first one, forgive yourself. This is huge. We walk around with so much guilt about the decisions we made that we end up blaming ourselves, especially for something like a heartbreak. Well, at least I do. What the kids say, let that hurt go. Let it go, boo. And I'm specifically talking about that self-hurt, not the hurt that someone else inflicted on you, but the self-hurt. Forgiving myself looked like releasing myself from the mental shackles of blame. Like I was blaming myself for how things went. I'm like, had I not been on online dating, had I not opened up to him, had I not done this, had I not done that, like it was like the blame fest. And that was driving me crazy. Like literally in my mind, I was going crazy, blaming myself. And that wasn't healthy. Don't do that. Don't be like Jay in that regard. So you have to forgive yourself. And I don't know what that may look like for you. But again, for me, I had to release myself from those blame shackles. Number 2, this is a big one, child. Forgive the other person, even without an apology. Now, before you cuss me out, hear me out. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. It's all about you. And if you need a breakdown as to how and why and how I came to that conclusion, check out episode number 8, Forgiveness is a Form of Self-Care, because, baby, I talk all about forgiveness and forgiving people that have hurt me, even family members. But listen, forgiveness has nothing to do with what that person did. It's all for you. And you have to forgive them for you. It's literally not about them, because if you can't forgive them, you're giving them your power. You're giving them the power and the authority and the control over your life. And no, ma'am, no, sir, we're not having that. So I don't know what that looks like for you. I don't know if it's a talk with God, if it's a letter you write but never mail. You have to forgive them. And they don't even have to know, that you forgave them. But you have to forgive them for you. It doesn't have to be a public showdown that, oh my gosh, I'm coming to you as a woman, letting you know I forgive you. No, forgive them for you and move on, right? Number 3, something simple. Lean on your support system. I know it sounds so simple, but it's so relevant and so challenging sometimes. You know, I know y'all probably were expecting something so profound for number 3, but I told y'all, simple stuff. But I can't say enough how much my support system got me through both of those instances of heartbreak. Now, the first one I told you, I thought Jesus was coming back. Like, I was going through it. And my support system made sure I did not fall too deep into a hole that I couldn't get myself out of. Because I've seen that, and that's a scary thing. I never wanted that to happen to me. And so I know, like, when I'm going through something that heavy, I have to lean on them. You might think you can figure it out on your own, but you can't. You don't know everything. You can't fix everything. It's too much of a heavy lift. You're not that strong. I'm sorry. I know you're Superwoman. I know you're Superman. I know you show up in this world and you don't need nobody. Sis, bro, sit down. Call your support system, because you also shouldn't have to lift that alone, even if you can. Like, there are a lot of things in my life that I can do by myself, but I shouldn't have to, and I'm not meant to do them by myself. And I wholeheartely believe that dealing with a heartbreak is one of them, because you'll be in an insane asylum. That was a tongue twister. Not going to lie though, heartbreak can feel embarrassing. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but in my situation, the most recent one, I felt embarrassed. I didn't even want people to know what had happened because it happened so quick. I was on cloud 1,099 one day and negative 2 billion the next day. And I was embarrassed because how did I let myself get there? You know, how did we get to that point? But you know what? Those who are for you will be for you, period. And if you don't have a support system, listen, my DMs are always open. We'll pray about that thing. I ain't gonna roll up on him and fight for you unless, you know, it causes for it. But I got you, boo. I got you. Look, heartbreak hurts like nothing before. I get it. It leaves you feeling lost, confused, broken, and so much more. Like, it's literally the breaking of the heart. And I didn't realize that until I experienced it. And while I wish I could protect everyone I care about from it, I know that I can't. It's just one of those things. But you know, my hope is that through my own transparency and through just me sharing and being open, that I am able to help as many people as I can cope and heal and begin to navigate the rest of their life, because you don't want a heartbreak to be the end of you, because there's so much more life to live. I know when I went through my heartbreaks, I was so over life because I was like, geez, baby, Lord, where is the Moses and the sheep and Mary? Where, just send help. Life is hard enough. Where is my help? But I can wholeheartedly say there was a lesson in that pressing. And that's honestly probably a bonus tip right there. There truly is a lesson in everything that we go through, whether we want to believe it or not. So sit down, journal, self-reflect, because I promise there is something to be learned. In my situation that I shared, the lesson was all about time. I had to learn how to not be in such a rush for what I, Jacqueline Armaria Washington, wants, that I missed out on what God really has for me, or I just completely blocked that out because I'm so focused on what I want. Did I rush things? Absolutely. Have people fallen in love in a month and got married and lived happily ever after? Absolutely. But that's not my testimony or my case right now. And the further away I get from God, the closer I get to doing what I want to do. And it ends up being like a train wreck. Prime example. So my lesson there that I had to learn, it was a hard lesson, because you feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I think this is God. I'm on. Okay, it's me and God thugging it out. And the whole time it's you. And so I had to come, have a hard conversation with myself that like, this you, sis. This is your mess. And now you want God to get you out. Y'all know how we do. But that's a whole nother story. In conclusion, my heart was broken, but my mind was made wiser. And that is what I am thankful for. I'm so, so thankful, because I have learned so much. And although I am still literally in my healing process, I am more whole and more self-aware than I've ever been. And I'm just thankful that it didn't take me out, because I know it takes so many people out. All right, y'all. That wraps up another episode of the School of Life podcast. I could go on and on about heartbreak and healing, because I love talking about just the journey of evolving and becoming, who I am, and helping others do the same. I'm not going to give y'all a lot of homework this week, because I just think everyone needs some time to self-reflect, to sit in whatever you're thinking or dealing with. So this week, I just want to challenge you to forgive someone who has offended you. That's it. I didn't really dive into this in this episode, but heartbreaks aren't always romantic either. And if you're new around here, check out episode 18, I Am Not My Childhood Trauma, because I dive into like the heartbreak I experienced from my parents. So if your heartbreak is from someone who's a family or a friend, forgive them. Forgive your offender, write it out, talk it out, whatever that looks like. I just challenge you to do that, because again, it's not even about them. It's for you. Before I get out of here though, I want to remind you to check out the School of Life Academy at www.schooloflifeacademy.com and follow us on Instagram at the School of Life Academy. Lastly, be sure you follow me at _Miss Jaye. I'll be sure to tag all of that in the show notes. As always, I hope you learned something new or gained some kind of insight, because y'all know that is why this podcast exists. Listen, we are all in this together. Don't forget to DM me if you have questions, if you need prayer, if you just need me to listen to you vent about that knucklehead who got you messed up. I am here. Look, keep fighting, keep pushing, keep evolving. Talk to you soon.
I gotta pay these student loans. That's adults with the score doing the most. That's adulting, moving out of mom's house. That's adulting, but it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting, 'cause these bills got me in trouble.